There are around 1 billion things we are told right now that we should or shouldn't do to protect our environment, our planet, or to help restore, rebuild it. But I recently realized that one of the most powerful things we can actually do right now to help the planet is to really take good care of our health. And I want to dive deep into why I think that it is one of the most powerful things. And let's start out by saying that when you are in exceptionally good health, you are no longer dependent on things that really burden the planet. So a few years back, when Amazon first came out and was in its prime times, and I was like, okay, I can get anything that I can imagine delivered to my house without having to do anything but press a button, I would start to get this addiction to ordering stuff on there that back then I was like, I definitely need this. But looking back, I'm like, there was no way that I could have not lived without these things. And eventually I look back and most of these things I don't even use anymore because they were such bad quality. But back then I wasn't in as good health. I felt like there was a void inside of me, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally, that I wanted to fill with buying and accumulating all these things. And I think when you are in really exceptionally good health, and yes, one is definitely physical, you want to feel good, light, energized, everything in your body feels smooth, but also when you feel really good mentally and emotionally, you're fulfilled and you know, I have everything I need inside of me, and also all the things I need I already own. There's not really anything that I have to buy or purchase to make my life better or easier. I've had 20 or 30 or 40 years to accumulate all the stuff that I need. And there are so many other things that are really burning. Another example I can give, I also had a little period in my life where I would go to the pharmacy a lot and buy different shampoos and makeup things and all these things. And I mean, sure, you need some of it, but I way overdid it, and at one point I calculated, okay, how much did I actually spend in the last week? Because back then I was paying everything with card at that pharmacy shop, and I calculated how much money did I actually spend there. And it ended up being more than 500 euros just in 3 years, which you might think, yeah, it's not that much. But when you actually think about it, it is a lot of money. And all of that wasn't just money, it was also resources from the planet, not just creating those products, those shampoos, those things, but also when I used them, they would go back into the water system and also onto my body, because they weren't the most sustainably sourced products, because I was like, I gotta save money on those products, which in the end, it ended up costing me more. But yeah, I generally think that when you think about it, everything that burdens the environment also kind of does burden our health. And that also brings me to the other point I want to mention today, and that is that everything that is good for your health is also most likely going to be incredibly good for the environment. So I just spent the weekend on a festival, and there was a lot of different food stands at the festival inside the Olympia Hall in Munich. Maybe you know that hall. It's very enclosed, a lot of people, and when those breaks were during the festival and you could buy things, there would be these huge lines. You would have to wait like half an hour or 45 minutes to even get food or go to the toilet. So what I actually did, the weather was amazing outside. I went out, there was sun out, there was the park, I went for a walk, I stopped by a fruit shop and I bought fruits, which, okay, yeah, we do have monocultures, which of course it's not optimal, but still buying fruits and vegetables, especially fruits, it supports the growth of more trees. And the more trees are being planted, the more trees we have on our planet, the better our earth is going to feel. And also the more fruit we eat, the healthier we become. And we are in a symbiotic relationship with Earth. So when we are feeling really good and energized from the fruit, not only are we feeling again this feeling of fulfillment, of deep satiation, of I have everything I need, I'm feeling full, I'm feeling nourished, I feel good, I don't need to buy anything on the outside or do anything on the outside to stimulate myself, because I'm already feeling so good from the fruit. So that is one factor. But yeah, of course, it is amazing for the environment to support the fruit industry, especially when you go to your local fruit shops, when you go to your local farmers markets. And this also brings me to the last point that I want to talk about today, and that is that when people who have good intentions, which if you're watching this video, I'm sure you are someone who has really, really good intentions for the people around you and for Earth. And when we are in a good state of health, then we have way more energy to create things in life, to generate money. And when we have more energy to do things, to work, to find our passion, and through that generate more money, then we have more money. And money is power. And of course, we can say what we want about money, but it is the system that we are living in right now. So if more of us have more money, that also means in a way we do have more power. So 1.5 years ago, I decided that I had enough of the really not so good quality of a lot of products you buy on Amazon, and also all the different reviews that you can read that are really good, and then you order the thing and then it ends up just being complete garbage that you either have to throw out after a short period of time or you have to send back, and there's so much packaging. And I realized that I no longer want to support this industry. And could I have saved a lot of money on certain things because they are just way cheaper on Amazon, or maybe it's even convenient to get them there rather than ordering them on the separate online shop? Yeah, but at the same time, because I have a lot of energy, I know I can generate the money to buy these more expensive products that I no longer can buy on Amazon for a very, very cheap price. And the same goes for so many other things. I remember when I first discovered a whole food plant-based diet 8 years ago, I was still studying and I was afraid to spend my money because I was like, okay, I wanted to go to the local farmers market and support the local farmers, but it was just 3 times the price of the food in the supermarket. And I still buy food at the supermarket, but I also really like supporting people who I know who grew the food, where it's organic, where it's local, where it's fresh. And yes, that is more expensive. And at the same time, it is way better for the environment. And if we who have good intentions and we want the best for the earth, for our bodies, for the people around us, have that money, we can spend it also on more sustainable clothing brands or more ecological products. And I think in that sense also it is so beneficial for the planet when we are in good health. And like I mentioned earlier, everything that we do that is good for our health, of course, the main one being if we eat more plants. I don't want to say that animal products are not good and you shouldn't eat them. Of course, you know how I feel about veganism, but I don't want to tell anyone what to do or what's the truth or the only one right way. And yet it is a fact that plants, fruits and vegetables are amazing for our health. They are full of nutrients, of fiber, of water, of minerals that are very, very healthy for our gut, for our body, that make us fulfilled and energized. And when we consume more plants and less of the things that are not good for the vibration of the planet, when there's a lot of suffering of the animals in the animal industry that are being exploited unnecessarily just so we can eat something when we actually wouldn't really need that, then we are not just doing a disservice to the planet and to the environment, but also to our health. And the same goes for so many other things like overconsumption of clothes and products of takeout. That was another thing why I was kind of resistant to buying food at the food stands at the festival I went to last weekend, because all of these foods would come in so much packaging that was just for one tiny meal, versus when you have a big case of fruit, or you have a bunch of vegetables, or you have cucumbers and tomatoes and you buy those, then it's a whole like stock of food that you can take from for many, many days in a row. And of course, a lot of fruits and vegetables are packaged in the supermarket right now as well. And I wish it wasn't that way. And at the same time, I still think it is way, way better for the planet to choose that, even if it does come in packaging. Of course, whenever it is possible to be avoided, do that. But if it's not, don't feel guilty for it, because it's not your fault and you're still doing the best you can if you buy the things in packaging, versus a lot of industry and resources and electricity that goes into processing foods. And yes, at the end of the day, they might be cheaper and they might taste better because that's what you're used to. But I can promise you, if you stick with a whole food plant-based lifestyle where you eat the food in its natural form, then over time your taste buds are going to adjust to this new way of eating, and your body is going to crave these things because it's what the bacteria in your microgut biome is consisting of right now. So they are asking your brain, because your brain and your gut are very, very deeply linked. And the gut bacteria in your gut is going to ask your brain for all these healthy foods because that is what it's used to. And you're not even going to feel drawn to greasy food that really, at the end of the day, when you think about it, it is old, it is made shelf stable, it is not fresh, it is lacking life, it is lacking life energy that you are also not going to have, because all that energy, instead of you having it because you've put fuel in your system to get you through your day and create amazing things and experiences and just experience joy and vitality and abundance in your life, now all that energy goes towards digestion. There are just so many benefits to our environment and to our planet when we take really, really good care. We're also much more likely to walk to places instead of taking the car or taking a bicycle. Of course, there are a lot of things where you still need a car, and I think cars are very convenient. At the same time, even if I have the option to take the car to the supermarket, I love cycling nowadays to the supermarket because it's another great way to get in a workout, to get in fresh air, daylight, in a very easy and fun and enjoyable way. And I love putting on some good music while I'm cycling to the supermarket and having a good time, and using that as another way of really honoring my body and my health. So yeah, if you want to know why 15,000 bananas changed my life, then check out this video. And even if bananas come from monocultures, eating more bananas is also another thing that, even if they are shipped from another place, it is so amazing for the environment. Because like I said, even if it's monocultures, the more fruit trees are being planted and the more you buy fruit, you are supporting farmers growing more trees, growing more fruits and vegetables that are really, really good for our planet, versus more slaughter, more animal industry, and more things that just crop down a lot of land without actually creating anything that benefits our planet. Maybe see you in the next video, and I wish you an amazing day. Bye bye.